great. Well, how do you like that? I started recording and then it told me I was recording. Hey, Robert, I just told you it's a beautiful day. I think
Yes.
I think I got to go back to sleep and wake up all over again. But
Nothing wrong with that.
so as I was telling everybody, this is Karen with newclevelandradio.net. Technology is supposed to be my friend, but my real friend for today is being brought to you by EMPKT PR in New York. And his name is, do you go by Robert or Rob?
It's Rob. Rob Rise on Belief. That's the whole name. Rob Rise on
Rob
Belief.
Rise on Belief. Wow. Hey, that must mean that you have a positive attitude every day.
That's right. That's right. Don't play.
Okay. So, Rob, let's just delve right into it. When did you know that music was your passion?
Oh, wow. You can say I was born into it, really, literally, because I come from a family of entertainers. My uncle, he was a part of a group, the Delroys, back in the day. My mom was a singer. My grandmother sang in church. So music surrounded me. It surrounded me. And I guess from the time I was a young man, I've always wanted to sing. I mean, I used to sing all the time, but music is something that always gave me freedom. And I love the reaction that people get when they hear good music. So I made it my decision to be the person that brings people that type of joyous reaction through music.
I love it.
All emotions. Mm-hmm.
Well, and I've also been surrounded by music. My father, when we were growing up, would take out a little ukulele and would strum on it and get us all to sing. And my aunt and uncle had an accordion and he would borrow it and he would entertain us. It was just like, I didn't remember a lot of these things until maybe about a year ago, as I was doing another interview, thinking, wow, I wish I had been brought up around music. And then I realized I was. No wonder. And no wonder I do these podcasts.
All right.
So tell me, being surrounded by family in music, we know church music is a little bit different than what you do on a Broadway stage.
Right.
But what I'm hearing you say is music enlightened your life. It gave you thought and purpose. Am I correct?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Because, you express yourself through song. If you're sad, you write a song. If you're happy, you write a song. And also, music is poetry, with music put along to it. So actually, it's poetry and it's just something that just touches the soul. And that's what I'm all about. Because, we go through ups and downs in life, but sometimes you put on a good record and you're like, woo, or then you got a good cry, or then you take it way back into a time when you were younger. So it's like a time machine. It's a joyous machine. It's a love machine. That's what music is to me.
Well, and it's interesting when you talk to somebody today, and especially the very young people are walking around with those earbuds in all the time, listening to something on their phone. And I'll say to them, what are you listening to? And usually it's music that I can't relate to.
Right.
But yet I say, you know what? I need to start listening. And so every once in a while, they'll hand me over their headset and said, just listen for a second. And it's like, okay, yeah, there is a message there. Okay. Sometimes we have to listen a little harder for it. But, the talent that individuals like yourself have is remarkable, because I don't have a voice to sing. In fact, I grew up singing until I had a surgery and they cut my vocal cords. And so I sound, if I try to sing, my son, who is the singer in the family, he'll say to me, Mom, please, sing it in your head, not out loud. But I love to feel the music. And then after I hear the music, then I love to feel the words. And the words in a song can mean something totally different to each of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Each word touches each person in a different way. One little word from a song can change a person's whole attitude, or a whole sentence, a whole line, that's the power of song and music. That's the power.
So where do you get your ideas from when you sit down to write? Is it something that you just experienced? Is it something that um, way back in your past or somebody else's past that you're bringing forward?
It's a combination of everything. Sometimes I'm influenced by someone else's story, and I can write a song about it. My own stories from the past, present, and to the future where I want to go to. And just like a flower, a bird, and it may sound kind of strange, but sometimes people are influenced by a crash or something in the street. And I say that because there's sound, there's music in everything.
Right.
And sometimes you can hear music in many different things. In a plane taking off, it's like a violin strings, you can hear it. So basically anything and everything influences me to write. But the main part of my writing does come from my own stories and, where I want to be and what has happened. Mhm.
And, I think that's sometimes what makes music uh, even more important to us. When we hear your story, then we can sit back and say, I can relate to that. Or
Right.
why did that happen? Okay. And then sometimes we sit back and we make up a new story in our head based on what
Right.
we just heard in the music. And I've been around music, like I said, for a very long time. I have a brother who is a music producer, and I've been lucky to be able to see how he can take something from the very beginning to
Right.
the end and everything in between. So to our listeners, what Rob Rise on Belief is all about is about bringing it all together for us.
Absolutely.
So how did this name come about? Because I have a feeling you weren't born Rob Rise on Belief.
I was actually born Robert Louis Hoagland. Still powerful, right? Okay. But how can I say, and this is what I often tell people, we go through things in my life. Everything in my life wasn't roses and candies and flowers, but Rob Rise on Belief comes from the fact that I never see myself at the bottom. I used to always tell my mother when I was a child that I could never see myself hitting rock bottom. I believe that I can be able to achieve and go far. So Rob Rise on Belief actually comes from believing in yourself, achieving, moving forward, no matter what goes on, good or bad. Just the power to keep moving forward and triumph, being triumphant. So that's and when we hear Rob, we usually think of it as a bad thing, or he's gonna rob whatever, this and
Got
that.
that. Yeah.
But that turned it around. Rob Rise on Belief. So when you're hearing oh, wait a minute, the meaning has changed. So that's what my whole name stands for, Rob Rise on Belief.
I love that. I'm so glad I asked because, and I love how you said the word Rob has a negative connotation. And, but yet I didn't see that myself. Okay. When I read it originally, I thought you're robbing yourself and taking away like all the negativity. Okay. And that's how you're rising up. But it is an interesting way that a word can mean something totally different to all of us.
Absolutely.
And it can change the tone of our day. So I appreciate that. So
it's like, I'm sorry,
no,
my song, Mirror Mirror, which is actually playing out now, the video is out now, is actually a story of me. I recently lost my mom to cancer 5 years ago. So it was I was in a dark place. So the song actually is me coming out of the darkness and coming into the light, overcoming. So when you hear the song and you see the video, you will see the marriage together, and you actually see me in the darkness walking into the light, the dawn of the new day. So basically that's when I say, when I write personally, it really is some things that went on in my life. And I'm sure there's others who I might be touching with that story who's been going through the same thing.
Absolutely. I reflect on this a lot because my son has done some writing, and and I guess it was about 11 years ago. Um,
Right.
he wrote this song called Into the Light. And
Mhm.
the reason for writing it and putting it all together was that um, he was diagnosed on the autism spectrum. He never fit the
Mm.
mold. So some people would look at him and go, "Oh, I know that you're autistic." And other people look at him and go, "You can't be." And so
Right.
he felt like when he looked in the mirror that there was this terrible person looking back at him because he felt like a
Mm.
fraud. Okay. Um, so when he wrote the song, uh, he didn't let me hear it until he recorded it with his uncle. And when I
Right.
heard it, I know it's a story about him, but
Mhm.
I found myself in that story. And so I started sharing it with other people. And I think that's what's I'm hearing in your music too. Yes, this is your story, mirror, mirror. But you know
Right.
what? Boy, as I listen to it and I think about it, no, that's my story. And
Right.
that to me is great music when the listener can adapt to it.
Thank you. I mean, I've listened to all the greats, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston. So I did my studying.
Yep. And they say that it means a lot to individuals when you sort of um, adopt some of their style,
Mhm.
use some of the things that you've learned from them, because it means that, hey, I did a good job. So now
That's right.
I'm going to use it as well.
Mhm.
So you mentioned that you have a couple of things coming out, but something special is happening within the week. So you want to talk to me about that?
All right. In the week, well, the album, here it is. Bright
What?
Fame will be officially dropping, the 17th, Friday the 17th. And I am happy, excited about it. It's a great album, rock and soul, or rock hits you straight to the core. So yes, I cannot wait. That's the big news for this Friday, November 17th.
So there once was a time, and I'm going way back, so this is aging me, but
Mhm.
probably around the 50s and 60s, um, that when somebody would come out with a new song and drop it, so to speak,
Mhm.
um, there would be a big performance someplace. Okay, so that you
Right,
could introduce it. And then
right.
from that big performance, you'd go from radio show to radio show. I know things have totally changed since those times. So when you
Yes.
just drop it, and when you say drop it, you're dropping it online, and it's
Yeah.
available to be purchased as well.
Mhm.
What else can individuals like myself do to help people know that, hey, here it is? You know, I know you're not going to a big concert and you're not
Right.
going to a record store. In fact, people today don't even know what a record store is. Um, but how can we help people to really hear it and feel it?
Well, actually, I do have a concert that is scheduled for November. Excuse me, why am I saying November? Oh my God, my mind is way ahead. For June 26th, it's going to be an online concert, and it's
Wonderful.
going to be a great concert. It's going to be at Starving Artists in Mark's basement. So definitely, the information will definitely be on my website where people can check it out. And my website, my Instagram page, it will be on those outlets. And it's going to be me and my band. It's going to be a great show. We're actually doing songs from the album, and we're going to do maybe one cover that is a surprise, but
Okay.
that it's going to be a great show. So that's going to take place November 26th. And it's going to be online, YouTube Starving Artists in Mark's basement. And
So
and you can help people to check me out by, mentioning my website, Rob Rise on
absolutely.
Belief, my Instagram page, Rob Rise on Belief. And also when people go to my website, they can get a free download of the single Mirror Mirror.
How wonderful. How
All
wonderful.
they have to do is sign up on the mailing list, and the free download goes straight to their email and they can download it.
That is terrific. And for
Mhm.
all of you out there listening, first of all, if you don't remember exactly where Rob told you to go, no problem, because in the show notes, we'll have the link to his website. We'll put out his Instagram link as well. So you don't have an excuse. And most of us will make an excuse about anything, if it means that we have to do one little thing more. So we're going to try to make it easy for them. But question for you. So you're doing this concert in the basement with your
Mhm.
band, what so many artists did through the pandemic.
Yes.
Do you get that same positive feeling when you're playing for a camera compared to being out on the stage um, in New York City?
I'm the same way I am on the stage, and I'm the same way I am in front of the camera. I don't cheat my audience. You get me 100%, even on the little, video, your phone camera. I give you my 100% because that's what you come to see, whether it's via the internet or via live. I don't believe in cheating my audience. I mean, sorry to say, some acts today do cheat their audience. And you know what? That's their way of doing things. So I won't look at it as a put down. That's how they do it. But
Right.
for me, I have a live, all my band is completely live: bass, drum, guitar, keyboards, background singers. I give a show to the 1 millionth power. So, yes, I'm the same way I am in a stage of 1 million people, and I'm the same way I am behind the camera of 1 million people watching me.
I love it. I love it because, I've heard musicians who took to Zoom and took to Facebook over the pandemic. And now they're saying, I never want to do that again. And I've asked why. And some of them I totally understand.
Right.
Part of their giving their all is getting that feedback. And when
Mhm.
they're not getting that feedback, they feel like maybe they aren't performing at their best. Um,
Right.
and I can understand that. But at the same time, I love your way of doing it because whether I'm sitting in a big arena watching you or at home in the comfort of my living room, if you're giving me that same performance, how amazing is that? That is,
Absolutely. And that's the true artistry. I understand some people don't want to do it in front of a computer. I get it. But most of those who aren't in front of a computer, and I don't mean to sound uh tough when I say this, they don't have the proper equipment. If you ever notice the big people,
yeah,
they have the proper equipment, they have the stage, they have the correct sound, so they do not mind performing in front of. Alicia Keys have done it. Look, Hall, Daryl, is it Daryl Hall? Have you ever seen
yes,
Daryl's
yes,
play?
yep,
Look at that.
yep.
Look at and his we can say that it is his basement. It might be a studio setup, but still in all, in his basement, he has guests come, they sit down and perform. No one is complaining. You're reaching an audience that is unreachable. Some people may not be able to ever come to your concerts,
You are
but
so
they get
right.
a chance to see you live. But not live, they get the chance to see you on the internet. Literally, you are live because you're
Right.
performing. So yeah,
Absolutely.
basically, it reaches around the world. And I used to be very narrow-minded like that. I'm not doing this in front of no computer. Then I thought about it. I said, you know what? You are closing your world. Let it happen. And I love it. Like I say, 100% in front of a camera where there's 1 million people and 100% in front of 1 million people on stage.
Well, and I also will share a lot of venues now are streaming concerts because, as you said, some of us just can't get there. Okay. Um, I work with a group up in upstate New York in Saratoga Springs. And I love going to Cafe Lena whenever I'm up there, but I get up there maybe once a year. But they have so many performers that perform there from years past and brand new and current. I don't want to miss it. So they provide them all online for a very small charge, but I get to sit in my living room dressed any way I want to be dressed, with or without makeup on, and I can enjoy a concert.
Right.
Now, seeing it live and in person, yes, there's nothing like it.
Nothing like it in the world.
But we all just can't get to the venues when we want to. And this is a great way for so many of us to see you perform, because you're in New York City. You may not get to one of our towns to perform. So let's not miss out. So we'll make sure that's in the show notes. So
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about your band. Who are your band members, and where do they all come from?
Yeah, we have Mark Abishai Brooks. He has played with so many people throughout his career. He's actually a professor now at LaGuardia College. He's a music professor, but bass playing. We actually wrote many of the songs together on the album, and we collaborated. He's kind of like my music partner. Okay. So he's been around and he's played for many, many, many bands, many people, many top bands. We have the guitarist Jules Drucker, young man. He's played with Bruno Mars, a lot of top people all over the place. His guitar style is phenomenal. So he's been out there for a very long time. Right now, as a matter of fact, I think he's which he'll be back for the show. He's playing with someone right now, somewhere in the Midwest. I don't exactly remember, but he tours a lot. I have another guitarist. He's phenomenal. His name is Kent Thompson, and right now he's playing in Canada. But he will be back for the show. And definitely, he's another one who has toured with many bands. He's played with I think a traveling show, ABBA. They have a little he travels, and he's Vegas, all over the world. He's actually from Australia, and so he's a phenomenal guitarist. We have the drummer, and he is fantastic. He goes by the name of Daniel D. Drummer, another young man who has played with a lot of top artists like the Bruno Mars and everybody. He's been played with many people. Right now, he's actually, is he touring? I think he's touring as well. He's playing with a couple of bands right now, and he will be back for the show. But and we have a phenomenal keyboardist. The young man is a prodigy. He's been playing keyboards since he was 4 years old. Phenomenal young man, and he plays like, wow. How can I say? He's another one who has toured with many people. His name is Michael BX. So many of the guys who are in my band has played with many people in the industry. You know, the names, I just go by the names off the top of my head, but if I had a list, I could tell you who they played with, and they've toured throughout. They're masters of their craft. Some of them are older, some of them are younger. So it's a mixed age, all different ages. But these young men and older men and middle-aged men, all of us, they're phenomenal in their craft. They're phenomenal, and they help make up Rob Rise on Belief. And I also have a female background singer. She's operatically trained, so she tours as well. And me, I'm also operatically trained myself. So but
wonderful.
Definitely, they make up the Rob Rise on Belief family.
Well, Rob Rise on Belief, I'll tell you, I am now like floating on a cloud, and I appreciate that enthusiasm that you bring.
Yes.
It's interesting because I started a program about 2 weeks ago on positive intelligence, and this morning I was supposed to do a couple of exercises and
Mhm.
I got in the way of myself, no, can't do
It
this.
happens.
But I'll tell you, um, after this podcast, I feel energized. I'm going to do what I need
All
to do
right.
for me. I'm going to
All
also be
right.
listening to some of your music. Uh,
All
and
right.
we're going to share it with all of our listeners. And I'll tell you, I'm so glad we got to meet. If you ever get to Cleveland, let me know because would love to come see you in person.
I will, Karen. I will. And this has been a great interview as well. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Your spirit and energy is very joyful also.
I appreciate it. Well,
Thank you.
everybody, this is Rob Rise on Believe. It's about
Woohoo!
believing. Have a great day.
All
Bye-bye
right,
now.
take care. Bye for now.